old Nintendo gamer.
And son.
Tony Hawk's was on Twitter saying, hey, Crash Bandicoot Twitter, you've Activision as well, you've brought your new Crash Bandicoot 4, it's about time to the Switch. What about my game? When's my game coming? And it got everybody speculating on social media, and then the next day, they did officially announce Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1 and 2 is coming to the Switch. We have no dates. It is later in 2021. We saw the game's box art a couple of hours later, and the following day, somebody did put videos up of the game running on Switch, and there was a couple of shadows popping in, but other than that, I think the game looked pretty solid from what I could see anyway. Greg, you did play it on PS4. Mm-hmm. Would you double dip for the Switch version here?
When I played it on PS4, I thought I wouldn't double dip, but now I'm considering it actually, because I kind of think I haven't on PS4. Like I never really had a chance to play like any of the multiplayer modes or anything, and I think I would have a better opportunity on Switch, like playing with like Dazzy B or whatever, or some of you guys if you ever pick it up. So I would definitely actually consider it, especially if it runs well enough. And like I haven't tried it myself yet, but I have reservations about whether the PS5's like the DualSense D-pad will actually work well with it, because I'm not convinced it will.
And you prefer the Joy-Con split D-pad, or would you plump for the analog trigger or the analog stick there?
Well, I played Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3 on the GameCube with the analog stick, absolutely no problem, and I think like the stick will work just fine on the Joy-Con, to be honest. As long as it's not drifted.
Quite right. Nick, how about you?
Yeah, I'm going to get this.
Pro Skater 1 and 2 for you on Switch as well.
Hopefully it's not going to be 50 quid, but I am looking forward to it. I've been desperate to play this since it came out on PS4 and Xbox, so I'll be getting it. I'll be using the D-pad for sure to recreate the retro feel. And that's actually one good thing about having the split D-pad on this Joy-Con. It'll work really well with Tony Hawk's, I think, so... Yes, very much.
What about your diagonals, though?
Yeah, you can press them both down. I suppose it's fine, because it was the original PS1 game was on a split split D-pad, wasn't it?
Oh yeah, the D-pad was on the original one. Yeah, the PS controller. Yeah.
So yeah, very much looking forward to it. I do hope it's not going to be like 50 quid.
That's my main concern. Otherwise, it's going to be waiting a year and a half until it goes down in price. You know.
Yeah.
I don't know why. For some reason I'm expecting it to be something like $34.99, but
that's exactly what it'll be.
Good man. That's the price I'm looking for. Was that the price you paid for it on PS4, Greg?
I think that's maybe what price it was on the PlayStation Store.
Okay.
Physically, I think whenever it launched, it was around the £30 mark.
Cool. That's nice. That's palatable.
So moving on to some WrestleMania news here. Me and Nick have loved those wrestling games in the past, and one of them was one of the first ones I played in the arcade called WrestleFest. This is a direct sequel to WrestleFest by some of the developers that made that game. They've made Retromania Wrestling. They created a new studio called Retromania Studios, or Retrosoft Studios rather, and it's supposed to be out now, but it was delayed 2 weeks because of Nintendo's certification process. So hold on if you want a very good kind of 16-bit wrestler with lots and lots of old school wrestlers in there, like the Legion of Doom. I don't know if you remember that tag team from back in the Ultimate Warrior kind of days. And lots of mods as well are promised. So I haven't seen anything of it running on Steam, but I'm looking forward to this coming to Switch. Nick?
Reviews are in for Steam, user reviews, and it's not good, unfortunately.
Oh, dear.
Yeah, so apparently the game looks and runs very well, like you would expect for a 16-bit wrestling game, but the AI is apparently broken, and there's a lot of issues with balancing the fights, and I think the difficulty's either very, very easy or very, very hard, so... It might be a good thing that it's been delayed on the Switch, because if a patch does come out for Steam, then I would assume the Switch version will launch with the patch already enabled. So
yeah, maybe they'll hold it off a little bit longer. Yeah.
But definitely overall positive reviews, but there are some issues with the balance of the game, apparently. So that might be one to hold back
I think all
on.
those kind of retro wrestling games anyway, apart from the kind of ones on N64 we love, No Mercy, they did tend to go for the kind of easier, you could basically go through a whole event, put on your 10 pence in a coin op and just fly through it,
We'll see. Looking forward to it still.
Greg, that one's definitely not for you, no?
No.
No. Let's move on to Steamworld Dig 2. Have you boys played Steamworld Dig 2? I've played it to completion. Greg?
Nope.
Nick?
Got it, but never played it.
Right. Then you might be kicking yourself here, because if you have a Japanese Nintendo Switch Online subscriber, so if you're a Nintendo Switch Online subscriber, and then you can basically link another Japanese account to your membership, then you could potentially get SteamWorld Dig 2 for free from right now, March the 1st until March the 14th. It's on sale until March the 7th. You can get it for free that week, March the 1st and March the 7th. And SteamWorld Dig 2 is a good call for this kind of free game trial service, because you could finish in a couple of days. Greg, do you have anything set up where you have access to the Japanese eShop?
Nope.
Ah, damn. Lots of no's from Greg this week. I could have waited myself. What about Mr. Sakurai Presents Pyra and Mithra presentation? That's happening on March the 4th. This is a 35-minute deep dive into the inclusion of the Xenoblade 2 Chronicles characters that are coming to Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. It's happening and airing at 2 p.m. in the UK. Nick, will you be watching this one?
Probably not live, but I'm definitely interested to see how they work, and I'm really looking forward to having Xenoblade 2 music in Smash Brothers. Even if it's not remixed, even if it's just the generic ones from the base game, I'll take it. So
yeah, well, it's fantastic music anyway, and it's got that battle kind of theme to it, which would be good in Smash Brothers.
Yeah, looking forward to this one. It's a good announcement. I didn't see it coming at all. Don't think many people did, to be honest. So pretty pleased with this one, and the fact that it's 2 characters as well is a bonus.
They got that kind of, the switch character between Pyra and Mithra. You can switch at any time, like Zelda and Sheik used to do.
Yeah.
Or even Zero Suit Samus and Samus used to do as well, but that they got removed. So yeah, a unique mechanic coming back to Smash Brothers. Greg, interested?
Nope.
And I know you're going to say nope about the next one as well, because it's Star Wars. Star Wars Republic Commando, that is, was a very strange omission from the Nintendo Direct after we had leaks and rumours and different dates popping up from everywhere. It's now 2-3 days after the Nintendo Direct. It came up with a reveal of April the 6th release date, and it's going to be available on the eShop there. Strangely enough, I thought this was a team-based game, which it is, but there's no online. It's a single player only there. Nick?
That's a hard pass from me. Not interested in this at all.
Okay. I am interested, but that single player thing has put me off quite somewhat, that's for sure. I thought 4 people would be able to play online and play together. Which we're going to skip one thing here onto the next one, because it's kind of linked to the same thing. Turok 2 Seeds of Evil does have a multiplayer section in there for up to 4 players. Night Dive Studios, who ported the game to the Switch, have now added in online multiplayer to that, and including support for gyro for third-party controllers, because the Switch unit itself has gyro built in, but most games use the gyro in the Joy-Cons. Well, they're reverting the gyro back to the Switch thing, so if you're using Joy-Cons like the Split Hori pad, which don't have gyro with it, you'll still be able to use gyro in Turok 2 and play online with up to 4 players. Greg, did you pick up the second Turok game?
No, just the first one. But this definitely does make it a little bit more interesting, although it's one of those things that you probably try it a couple of times, and I can't imagine sticking around for the multiplayer on it for too long, but it does make it a wee bit more appealing to purchase, especially if it goes on a sale again.
Yeah, same here. Nick?
I got it on PC, unfortunately. So
yes.
I guess I'm out. I don't know if they're going to add online multiplayer to PC version, to the PC version, or whether if it would be crossplay, that would be excellent. But unfortunately, I don't really see it happening. So I think I'm going to have to stick with. I don't really want to buy it again. So yeah, I'm going to.
Not at that £15 price tag, that's for sure.
Really,
it's a bit steep in it.
Mm-hmm.
Talking about 15, it's been 15 years there's for the DS, that is, and its leftover feature has been discovered in the DS Lite, not the original DS, but the actual Lite version of the SoC, which is basically, if with a little bit of tinkering, you can turn it back on, and it allows the DS Lite to have TV output through simple wires. Yes, you need to hack it and you need to add a mod to it, but once it's turned on, there's no hardware required or anything. You basically plug your DS Lite into your PC, and then the PC monitor acts as the screen, and the bottom screen still functions, so you can use that for its touch screen functionality. A wonderful little device there if you want to record any DS Lite bits and pieces. And I just think it's wonderful that Nintendo had added this in and then taken it out and just left it there in the background, Nick.
Yeah, I think the 3DS can be plugged into a TV, can't it?
Yeah.
It works.
Yeah, I believe you probably need a capture card or something to go through, but it is possible, yeah.
Well, yeah, I don't know, I've not played an original DS for a very, very long time. I only had one for about a year and a half, I think, and I didn't really play it that much. So I missed out on a lot of games, but to be honest, I don't have that much interest in going back. I'd maybe try the 2 Zelda games one day, but not really keen on anything else, to be honest.
On a TV?
On a TV especially.
You can do that on Wii U.
You can.
Yeah, you can. Yeah, because you can split it between bottom and top screen. The top screen is a TV, so it's kind of like a remnant of what they've pushed over to the Wii U. Amazing there. Any thoughts on that, Greg?
I know that, like you said, it's a good feature for if you're wanting to like capture footage or something, but in terms of actually playing it, it's not as practical as just having it there in your hand.
There's that big gap then. If something is scrolling from a top screen to the bottom screen, as many games used to, that the disjunct between the scrolling would be very strange. But very cool indeed. Then the 3DS in March the 25th is going to be 10 years old in Europe. At the moment, on February 26th, it became 10 years old in Japan already. It launched a month later, if you remember, in Europe than it did in Japan. They've now, the death of the 3DS here, they've now discontinued all of the repair services for the original 3DS model and the original 3DS Lite, not the new models. They still can be repaired due to bits and pieces, the parts basically, being a little bit too expensive to procure nowadays. 10 years is a long time to be still repairing the 3DS units there, Greg.
Yeah, I find it a wee bit hard to believe that it's been as long as that, because I sort of still kind of remember it vividly, like whenever I got it.
I was in Taiwan when I got it, so yes, I've been here a long time, Nick.
I also picked up a 3DS not long after it launched, and I remember being extremely underwhelmed by it and getting rid of it after a few weeks. And then when Ocarina of Time and Animal Crossing came out, and the revised version of the 3DS, that's when I jumped in, and then I upgraded to I got an XL actually. Sorry, I got an XL first, and then after 2 or 3 years, I changed it to the original but a new 3DS. So I've still got that one. The battery lasts about an hour, and the screen is really scratched because when you close it, it actually scratches the screen. So I was looking into getting
the bevel of the bottom screen cuts into the sides.
I was looking at getting another one, but it's really expensive. Like even a foldable 2DS is €150 minimum, yeah. And I don't really want a regular 2DS. I prefer to get the one with the bigger screen. So I might just have to stick with this one. Maybe replace the battery. That's one option, I guess. But yeah, it's quite sad. I'm going to crack it out next week and start playing some old Zelda games. So I'll go back to it for a bit.
Excellent. And the last bit of news this week is the Pokemon Presents presentation, which aired on February the 26th. It started, and I tuned in 10 minutes late, and I thought, what have I missed? And there was this trailer for themselves, patting themselves on the back, basically, for surviving for 25 years when they didn't expect to. And it just went on, and it's like, is this a 20-minute direct? And this introductory trailer to your 25th anniversary is just so egocentric. Anyway, I was quite surprised by the length of that introduction. I'm glad I missed the first 10 minutes, that's for sure. Did you watch the presentation at all, Greg?
Familiar answer, nope. I didn't watch it. No interest in Pokemon. Oh, I did catch a couple of the snippets of videos afterwards.
How about you, Nick?
Yeah, I watched it from start to finish, which took a lot longer than it should have because of all the buffering that happened. Like, the stream was really unstable, I think, for a lot of people.
You didn't have
any problems?
Okay.
Yeah, it was.
No, I didn't.
It kept buffering and it was really annoying. But I really enjoyed that trailer at the beginning. I thought it was great. It was so nice to see all the, especially the stuff from the late 90s and early 2000s. Brought back a lot of good memories. I've not really been that into Pokemon since then, but it was nice to see everything sort of, and it's quite amazing how much they've actually done over the years. But yeah, I thought it was an okay presentation, but nothing spectacular. I'm still excited for Pokemon Snap. I think that looks good. Thought the variety in the levels was pretty decent, and it seems with all these photo editing modes and online competitions to get a high score and stuff, looks okay. Looks like it could, even though if the game's going to be a little bit short, I do think there's going to be a lot of replay value in that aspect of the game, but that's not really something that appeals to me, to be honest. I definitely want to go through the game from start to finish and, go for the high scores and everything, but I'm probably not going to be doing the online stuff in that game at all.
Yeah, that is new Pokemon Snap. Mm-hmm. I was interested in this, but it doesn't fill me with any confidence that they showed so little of it in the direct. They gave that trailer and then they didn't elaborate on any of the details. It's out on April the 30th. To me, it sounds like, well, we'll give the details later, or we don't have much to show apart from, yes, you can still throw apples. Yes, it looks really pretty, actually. It's a beautiful environments there. And they've added those online elements to, you take a photo, you can add certain elements like stickers and bit pieces over them, and then upload them to get, I suppose, like an Instagram kudos, and it ranks, and you can rank up if people like your photos. A bit like Mario Maker 2 does, isn't it, with your levels? So, yeah, I'm a tad concerned, especially at the price tag it has. Greg, Pokemon Snap, which was the last of the 3 games.
I didn't watch the Pokemon Snap stuff. Kind of already rolled it out.
Good. We'll move on to the first game that was announced, and they showed a Nintendo DS, and they started with a bit of Pokemon Pearl and Pokemon Diamond there, and then they showed us what the remakes of those games are called and what they look like. Pokemon Brilliant Diamond and Pokemon Shining Pearl. They are actually developed by Ilka, who were developers for Pokemon Home, the app for transferring your Pokemon from different Pokemon games into the Switch versions of them and storing them in the home. They're described as faithful remakes of the DS titles with a top-down chibi-esque look, launching in late 2021. So this is your kind of stopgap before the main Pokemon game, which we'll talk about a little bit later. Nick, Pearl and Diamond maybe a bit late to when you were playing Pokemon games?
I never played them. I know they're quite highly regarded from all the generation games. I think Diamond and Pearl are one of the sort of the favourites among many, and I know Sinnoh, the region, is also loved. But for me, it looks pretty awful, to be honest. I hate the chibi art style. I don't think it looks that great. I much preferred the Let's Go look. I thought that was a lot nicer. And I was kind of hoping for a Let's Go Gold and Silver, but I guess that's probably not going to happen, to be honest, unfortunately. I'd really like to play Gold and Silver again, because they were my favourite Pokemon games. But yeah, for fans, great, but I'm not interested in this at all.
I think the chibi style could have worked if it was as vibrant as the Pokemon Go Let's Go games, but it does. It looks bland. It looks rather muted. It looks foggy. It's just certain games have Vaseline over them, as Greg says. It looks like that. It's lacking clarity in its graphics as well. It's very, very strange look they've gone for there. So moving on to the last one, and this, which was the second game talked about in the Pokemon Direct, and this one has got me more interested because I think this is the style that maybe I was expecting more of in Pokemon Sword and Shield. And it's Pokemon Legends Arceus, which I've been calling it Arceus for the last 15 years or whatever since he's been around. It's Arceus. It's designed for a new approach to the series to break new ground with more open world and action RPG setup. So there are things happening more on the fly. You can either throw a Pokeball out by sneaking up to the Pokemon, was shown in the Direct, or you can engage in combat with them when you're holding your Pokemon in your, I don't know whether it's next to you or whether it's in your inventory or whatever. But then you can also have fights which are pretty much more action based rather than RPG based, Nick.
Pokemon of the Wild.
Yeah.
Looks absolutely horrific.
The first screenshot they showed when there's the mountain in the background, I thought, oh, this looks lovely. And then...
Yeah, it's a disaster. It is a real disaster. Considering that Breath of the Wild's a Wii U game, it had a lot more detail and ran a lot more smoothly than this. And to be fair, like, they've still got more than a year to tidy it up. And the idea of this probably would have made me lose my mind when I was 14, 15 years old. And just the sort of the jankiness, the bad animations, the poor graphics, the low frame rate, the lack of detail. I can't find any reason to get excited about this apart from the concept of an open world Pokemon game. And I'm sure when it comes closer to launch, it's going to look a lot better, and maybe it's going to be running on better hardware as well. But I thought this was a really, really poor debut video. This I think is the opposite of selling somebody on something. It looks like a PS2 game. It's so bad.
What was wrong with the animations of the Pokemon? You know, when they were coming in to attack you, as you know, you instigate in a battle, the Pokemon in the wild would come towards you. They were, and I didn't think it was the buffering because I had no problems. And Dazzy went, I thought that was the buffering of the video. No, it wasn't a buffering of the video because I've watched the video back a few times now. It's like it's at 2 frames a second. It's just skipping animations and it's flicking from place to place. I'm thinking, is that a stylistic animation choice they've done there?
Shouldn't be.
It was very weird. Yeah.
I don't know. I'll keep watching it, and I'm sure it's going to look a lot better in a year's time. But yeah, like I said, as an introduction to the game, this was very, very bad.
Yes, and just to sum up what Nick said, basically they've got a lot of time to work on it, and it's time to get your crack your knuckles and get on with it, Game Freak, because you've got a lot of work to do by the looks of it. So I'll download Delights 4 games arriving on Switch this coming week. Nocia on the 4th of March for $22.49. This was the Japanese only game for a while, which looks a bit like Among Us, plays a bit like Among Us, but for single players only for $22.49, like I say. And very interesting. It did appear on one of the indie showcases. Sea of Solitude, the director's cut, did appear on an indie showcase, and this looks very, very vibrant. It's an adventure through a beautiful and troubling world to confront loneliness, depression, and abandonment, where the girl becomes a monster herself. It's very interesting. 4th of March as well, $17.99. Then if you want a kind of first-person laugh shooter, Kill It With Fire on 4th of March for $10.79 is where you're an exterminator and your arsenal of increasingly excessive weaponry, and you use those weapons to track down spiders and basically try and kill the spiders without burning everyone's houses down. And then last of all, the big release for next week on the 5th of March for $39.99 is Harvest Moon One World. And for me, this isn't looking as good as Story of Seasons will end up in a couple of months' time when that releases. Anything for you, Nick?
No, I haven't seen Harvest Moon One World, actually, so I'll probably have to have a look at that. Big fan of the series. At least back in the day I was.
It's looking, the landscapes on it are looking rather sparse. It's looking a little bit barren and badly the simplistic textures on the scenery as well, which is a bit of a strange look to it, just like the Pokemon games. Greg?
I haven't seen any of them, Lee.
Right, we'll move on to some of the sales, and I'm not going to list all these. My highlights of sales this week are, and Nick said this 2 weeks ago, and it's still on sale until the 7th of March, Moving Out is down to $11.99. Raging Justice is very old school. It looks like a claymation, side-scrolling beat-em-up. That ends on 7th of March. It's down to $2.49 for that one. Yooka-Laylee and the Impossible Lair, which Nick likes a lot there, is $9.99. And Neon Abyss has dropped down to that $11.99 as well. And that ends on the 7th of March. Anything from that sales list, Nick, that people should be picking up?
Definitely Yooka-Laylee at that price. It's a very good price. I've been thinking about moving.
By the way, with Yooka-Laylee, if you get over to the US eShop, it's $7.49, so it's a little bit cheaper on the US eShop there.
Even $9.99 is a decent price, I think, to be honest. Tenner. Moving Out, I was thinking about it. I haven't made a decision yet. I might wait till the next sale. And actually, I saw a couple of reviews of my time at Porsche recently. It was recommended by someone on a Discord. And I think it looks okay, and for $624, that might be worth giving a shot, but I know the Switch version doesn't run that well compared to other versions, so we'll see. But for $624, that's not bad, actually, just to give it a try.
That is a great price.
Town building game, so...
Yeah,
I
town
like
building, a
stuff
bit
like
of farming.
Yeah, I've got plenty to play, and none of these will be joining that list.
Not even Raging Justice. So if you want the full weekly Switch eShop download and sales information, check out the N-Europe website where Dennis Tummers drops all the details on a weekly basis. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to hit the subscribe button and give us a like if you've enjoyed our content. You can also check out our other great content on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and the N-E Café podcast from all good podcast providers. Just follow the links in the description below.